The land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum, be tight, be tight, be tight.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. We got new products on the Tatum store. All you got to do is go check it out. Boom, we got this shirt. And then we also have Trump is right again, okay? He's always right. Anyway, let's talk about the breaking news that have come out about Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony that was released, the transcripts of I guess, her testimony, maybe at I can't think of the court name. It's when you were in the initial hearing. God dang it, I can't think of it. It is when you grand jury hearing. I think this is what it is. The grand jury transcripts when she was questioned by a grand jury. I believe that's what it is. And so we obviously don't have time to listen to hours. I think it's like 45 minutes straight of transcript. So what we did was we took the transcript, we put it in ChatGPT, and then it spit out some of the takeaways and some of the things that you want to hear about. So we did it so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. But we'll link in our post-production video, we'll link the actual transcript stuff or the website. You can go and listen to it yourself so you can fact check whatever I'm saying and listen to it on your own. However, here are the takeaways. These are the things that I think most of y'all want to know. Epstein's death. And you can't take Ghislaine Maxwell at face value, okay? She has a vested interest to lie too. However, if we've not heard her side, if you've not heard her side, this is her side of it. Epstein's death. Maxwell says that she do not believe that it was a suicide and points to prison failure. And if it was a murder, she believed that it was an internal situation rather than an external situation, meaning that it was an internal hit on his life and not an external hit on his life, which I can see that being a possibility, given the fact that the cameras didn't work and people went to sleep. You can see the people coordinating into the jail to do that to him because of how prolific he was. And it probably wasn't or may not have been Mossad, like they want to say, the Jews. Okay, Trump's involvement. That's another big one. According to the documents that we've read, that we put together, Maxwell described Trump and Epstein as social acquaintances only, says that she's never witnessed Trump in any inappropriate context and has no knowledge of Trump's involvement in the crime. I lean towards believing that she is telling the truth, But again, she has a vested interest to lie. Why wouldn't you say Trump wasn't involved so he can pardon you, right? But personally, I don't believe Trump was involved whatsoever because there's no real evidence that he was involved. He knew the guy. The guy got banned from Mar-a-Lago a long time ago because he was inappropriate with people that were there. Donald Trump really don't have any real connection to him. Never will, never had. I don't think Trump had a connection. So I think she's right about that. Again, I don't know. I believe what she's saying because it makes more sense. Here's another part of it is the people who are involved in it. And we'll get to that here in a second. But I want to go through each topic one by one and just give some clarity on it, okay? And just dive into it just a little bit more because we got a couple more explanational points and then some reference points of her actual quotations about the subject. Epstein's death. She cited the Bureau of Prisons' mismanagement of their dereliction of duty. She explained the state should not have believed that Epstein killed himself. If it was a murder, like I said before, she thinks that it was more likely an inside job. Her quotes, I do not believe that he died by suicide. And this is what she said in the transcript, page 205 to 206. Having experienced mismanagement and dereliction of duty at the Bureau of Prisons, and that is page 204. If it is indeed murder, I believe it was an internal situation. And that's on page 206. Okay. And she says the official story doesn't add up. Even Maxwell, close to Epstein, rejected the suicide narrative and pointed towards prison failure. Now, I want you guys to give feedback while I'm talking about these things. Do you think that that's true or not? Do you think that Epstein did it or not? You know, I find it interesting that Ghislaine Maxwell is saying she don't believe that he committed, the ultimate sacrifice on himself. But she believes that it was an inside job. However, our government is telling us that there's no evidence that it was an inside job done to him outside of him doing it to himself. Interesting. Trump wasn't involved. It says Trump and Epstein knew each other socially. Maxwell said never saw Trump to do anything inappropriate. Says Trump was a gentleman in her presence and she never witnessed him in any massages or inappropriate settings. And this is what she quoted. She said, I don't think that they were close friends. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting. He was a gentleman in all respects. That is on page 105 to 108. Absolutely never heard that Trump had done anything inappropriate. And that's on page 108. So when you'll know it to reference it when you see it. Okay. High profile names and selective outrage. Her point is that Epstein's orbit include politicians, celebrities, financiers, and scientists. Maxwell underscored that scrutiny is selective. Some powerful figures are shielded while others are targeted. This is where she mentioned it at. Harvard, MIT, scientists, CFR, business elites, and various public figures discussed across page 276 and 283. Okay, if you wanted to, and also 99 and 101. You can go back and play it if you want to watch it. When I give y'all the thing, you can go watch it. Okay, it's tier 2 justice. Elite names circulate around Epstein, but accountability is lopsided. It's what she said. Prison failure. Maxwell describes how easily violence can be arranged inside prisons and emphasized the Bureau of Prisons' shortcomings. And this is her quote. You can pay a prisoner to kill you for about $25 of commissary. That's the going rate for a hit with a lock. That's crazy. And that's page 205, 206. Shortcomings of Bureau of Prisons, and that's on page 206. Now, I want to know from you guys, do you believe that that's possible? Do you believe that somebody just ordered a hit in prison on Jeffrey Epstein and that was the end of it? Somebody paid enough money in prison or even externally from prison to make the guards go to sleep and the cameras not work, and then they offed him because they didn't like him because he was a raging you-know-who. Those people aren't really normally protected. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Media narrative and protection of elites. Maxwell suggests that media steers focus towards certain names like Trump while ignoring the larger network, emphasizing contrast between wall-to-wall Trump segments versus limited curiosity about broader elite names or elite networks. Maxwell scapegoat framing. She implies she became the public foul person while more powerful men preserve their reputation. I think that's it. Maybe I have one more, Nick. I gave it back to you. There's one more that I want to touch on real quick. Thank you. And then it says that the last one is fast pull. No, that's not it. No, I think that was it. That's all we had. Sorry I couldn't present it a little better than that. My head is cut off a little bit. I'm sorry I couldn't present it a little better than that, but that's just what we have right now. It's breaking news, so I just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys as quickly and as reasonably as possible. All right, I want to get to another segment that I want to talk about, and that is the Megyn Kelly show where she interviewed Marjorie Taylor Greene. One second, because I thought I had the paper, and I don't know what just happened to it. I thought I had it. Never mind. I think I have it here. So this is what I did, ladies and gentlemen, because the Jew hatred and the anti-Semitism, and just even outside of anti-Semitism, things that don't reach anti-Semitism but are incredibly weird and just a flat out lies and deception told by certain people in order to be framed on the side of hating Israel. Let me just tell y'all something real quick. I love Megyn Kelly. She's one of my favorites. But I personally think that Megyn Kelly could be slightly falling for the okie doke a little bit. I don't think she's fully gone for the okie doke, but I think she could be leaning towards the okie doke, because when you listen to some of the things she say, this is where things start. The pressure of people coming after you because you justify genocide, because you want babies dead, the pressure that people feel, they feel like they need to back off of their support for Israel. They need to back out because of outside influence, not legitimacy in principle. And I think that Megyn Kelly is falling for it just a little bit, because Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you watch the full interview, she begins to eat it up. Yeah, see, that's what you see, you're questioning. Like, we need to start questioning. And then now what happens is a person questions legitimately, and then they begin to listen to idiots like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then you get to going down conspiracy theories, and then before you know it, they're denying the Holocaust, then they did 9/11, and before you know it, they run America, they run Donald Trump. Donald Trump is in the pocket of Netanyahu. The world is over because the Jews are the worst people on planet Earth, and they should all be dead. That's what ends up happening as people unchecked go down. And when I say unchecked, check yourself before you go off the end of the rabbit hole. Here is why I'm saying this. Megyn Kelly interviews Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she said a bunch of ridiculous things. Megyn Kelly, in my personal opinion, in good faith, believed Marjorie Taylor Greene and didn't fact check her before she said any of these things, or didn't study some of these things, so she know to push back on her on these certain topics. So your boy, yours truly, did the research, and I'm going to debunk some of the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene says. Not because she's criticizing Israel. I don't care if people criticize Israel. I'm not Israeli. I don't care. That's not my fight. But when you're lying, you're lying. Roll the clip.
So we have tons of lobbyists, foreign countries' lobbyists that come to Washington, D.C. Pretty much every country has some sort of representative. They have an ambassador they send to Washington. It's naturally in their interest. We can understand that. They also are required to register under FARA. It's a law. They have to register as a foreign agent, a foreign lobbyist. That is required. It's extremely important. Here's the difference with AIPAC. AIPAC is not registered under FARA, under this law that requires anyone coming to lobby a member of Congress or a senator or department of the government and the federal government on behalf of another country. So AIPAC argues, but we're Americans. Yes, they are Americans, but they are coming to Congress and to the federal government asking on behalf of the country of Israel.
Now, think about this for a minute. This woman is a person who is in Congress currently, and she just flat out told a deceptive lie about the difference between AIPAC and a FARA registered lobby group. There's a difference between a foreign government using resources and finances to pay a person to lobby directly on behalf of a foreign country. Therefore, you have FARA, which is funny to me because if you look up the people who are involved in FARA, why don't they make a big deal about those people who are involved in FARA anyway? They don't even talk about the people who are in. They want AIPAC to register in FARA, but then they don't ever talk about the conflict of people lobbying for foreign governments in FARA already. But let's talk about the difference. If you are specifically lobbying on behalf of a government, directly answering to a government, or government resources going to a lobby against or towards the American government, then you have to register as FARA. Our Department of Justice have ruled every single time this comes up that AIPAC is not eligible for that. Why? Because these are American citizens. These are not non-citizens. These are American citizens who believe in the partnership between America and Israel. And so what do? They lobby to continue the relationship that is equitable and fair and as positive for Israel. Why would that be weird when they're one of our biggest allies? We give them the most financial aid consistently out of anybody. So how is that weird that there's Americans here that love Israel, they're Jewish, and they say, I want there to be a positive relationship between the United States of America and Israel. You don't have to support AIPAC. You don't have to lobby. You don't have to be lobbied by AIPAC. You can say, I don't want the money. I don't believe in that cause. They act like they put a gun to your head and say, you better support AIPAC or else. Let's look at a quick number real quick. AIPAC lobby, I don't know, 90, they can't lobby. AIPAC as a 501c4 can't spend more than a couple $1 million, I think, a year. But they have other PACs that they associate with. 94 million they contributed in the elections in the last election cycle. Act Blue, 1.1 billion. Red Wind, like 800 million. Who do you think is lobbying people harder? $94 million from AIPAC or 1.1 billion from Act Blue? If you're a congressperson and you're being influenced, who running the money harder? Who's propping up the candidates? Who's giving money to win elections? Who do you think is backed more? 94 million or 1.1 billion? Let's just put this stuff in perspective. And so that's the biggest lie that she told in that first one, is that AIPAC is covered under the Lobby Disclosure Act, which is the same Lobby Disclosure Act that NRA, the AARP, they're lobbying our Congress. There's an act that they're under where they have to disclose certain things as a lobby. And it's not any different. If AIPAC was a foreign government, then we would have a problem. But it's American people that have an interest in supporting Israel. And like I said, if I was in Congress and I don't want the AIPAC money because I don't believe in it, then why do I need to take their lobbying? I don't need to. All right, let's go to the next point. Roll it.
AIPAC takes every single that they can, freshman member of Congress or first year in Congress, they take them on a very special trip to Israel in August. August is our recess. It's our month-long district work period. That's
Dems and Republicans, or just Republicans?
They take both of them. Oh. Yes. And they invite pretty much everyone, to my knowledge. So they take them on this trip to Israel. I guess they go on tours all around. I didn't go, so I don't know what they do there. But they take them on tours, like the pictures we've seen recently of the speaker and other members of Congress at the Wailing Wall.
They've all gone.
They've all gone.
You see them all.
And they wear the kippah. Mm-hmm. And even though they're Christians, they're not Jewish, but yet they're adorning Jewish attire. And they're at these Jewish religious sites. Mm-hmm. Then they also meet with different members of the Israeli government. Now, we got to recognize the Israeli government is secular. This is not the biblical Israel. It is the secular government of Israel. And so they meet with their members of all throughout their government, and the prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, meets with them. And so they've done that trip already this month. The new freshmen and members of our leadership all went and they did that trip.
So let's talk about this real quick. You know, the funny thing is you never hear this or them care about any other country, any other people doing this or whatever. It's only because it's Israel that is somehow projected as a nefarious thing from the onset. Think about this for a second, right? Her thing is that the freshmen, and I'm just going to read this. It says those trips are by American Israeli Education Foundation. It's not by AIPAC. AIPAC does not fund these trips. So therefore, she's being disingenuous about it from the start. AIPAC is not funding these trips. People can voluntarily go on a trip. She says she didn't go. So they're not making Congress members go. She didn't go. You don't have to go if you don't want to. And then this whole idea that Christians are going and observing Jewish monuments and historical sites. Dummy. Our Lord and Savior was a Jew. These sites were the sites that Jesus Christ was at. Jesus Christ observed many of these places. He was a Jew. Do we not forget that Jesus was a Jew? So all of the temples, all of the temple references, all of the law, the Sabbath, the cleaning of hands, everything that Jews do today, Jesus did when he was walking around in Jerusalem. And I went, nobody made me put a yarmulke on and kiss the wall. I'm not going to ever kiss the wall and do all that. I respect the Jewish tradition of doing that. I respect Americans who want to join in that thousands of year tradition or however long they've been doing it. I don't want to do it. And nobody make you do it. You don't go to Israel and they go, you better get on that wall. And some people just want to show a sign of respect. Why does that have to be deemed nefarious? I don't understand. If you want to go to Israel to see the Holy Land, there's a lot of biblical historical sites where Jesus was in the tomb, where Jesus may have been crucified, the Mount of Beatitudes where Jesus gave his speech, the Sea of Galilee, the city of David, the word Gehenna. They show you where Gehenna is around the city of Jerusalem, where in the Bible it's said it's hell. They burn people and kids and sacrifices in Gehenna. You look at all of those things. You go to the Dead Sea. I mean, you go to the Mount of Olives. You could go to, the wilderness where Jesus was tempted by the devil. Like, why would a Christian think it's nefarious if you're invited to go to Israel, to the Holy Land where your Lord and Savior lived and where the Bible came from? But for some reason, they got to make it all bad and nefarious because it's Israel. And I want people to understand this. It's a legal, separate affiliation and it's pre-cleared by House Ethics. So the House Ethics Committee pre-clears the American Israeli Education Foundation to send people voluntarily to Israel to have an experience of the Holy Land. But for some reason, Marjorie Taylor Greene in her mind think that it has to be something nefarious associated, even though it's not even AIPAC that's even sending people anyway. Next one. And this is probably the most egregious. Roll it.
Israel is the only country I know of that has some sort of incredible influence and control over nearly every single one of my colleagues. And it is, I don't know how to explain it.
She says that AIPAC has incredible control. This is the thing. Why not you then, Marjorie? Why not you? You so special that somehow you avoid it, but they can't avoid it. Everybody don't need AIPAC to get elected. It's just like if I was in Congress, I would be supportive of AIPAC. I'm supportive of Israel. If they were doing something nefarious, I wouldn't support them. And I'll come out and say it. I wouldn't even be ashamed. I don't care. What are they going to do? Off me? Shut up. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not affected. She got reelected. So, and she, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to support Israel for you to get reelected. That dummy's still getting reelected every year. And she cheated on her husband and allegedly was sucking somebody out behind a building somewhere. Don't give me that. Don't try to play the grandstand. The Christians are shut up, woman. You ain't doing right with you being in office anyway. Anyway, let's get to this real quick before I get to this next clip. AIPAC is one of the only lobbies but they don't talk about the flood of foreign interest lobbies. Saudi Arabia, China, the UAE, Japan, Turkey, South Korea, and they spend tens of millions of dollars lobbying. Tens of millions. Why are you not talking about Saudi Arabia? Why are you not talking about the Chinese lobby? And then there's other lobbies that are not as prominent as AIPAC, but J Street, the Democrat majority of Israel, NORPAC, and others, they lobby as well. And they got the same designation as AIPAC. They're not registered through FARA. Why don't you talk about them either? They act as if no one is lobbying in America, period, except for AIPAC. When you got all these other countries that are FARA registered, but they still are lobbying tens of millions of dollars into our government. And that's why, the funny thing is these same people go, they bought and paid for by China. Why did they say that? Because China has a lobbying group. They bought and paid for by China. Like, why don't you talk about Saudi Arabia? I bet you $1 million Saudi Arabia is dumping more money than AIPAC can. All right, let's move on. Play the clip.
Judge McFadden, he just had a ruling that you can burn any flag in the United States of America, including our own American flag, except you can't burn the Israeli flag in America.
Who said that?
Judge McFadden.
In what context?
In his court. It just happened.
Well, that's not going to be upheld.
It shouldn't be.
That's a violation of the First Amendment, blatant, and it will be struck down as soon as it goes up on appeal. What a ridiculous notion.
Should be. He said in what he wrote is that the Israeli flag, it's an identity, a race, and it would be a hate crime. Yeah.
Wrong.
Yes.
Wrong. That's getting struck down.
Now, first of all, I know to Megyn Kelly's benefit, she probably never heard of this, so she didn't look it up prior to this. Marjorie Taylor Greene is being disingenuous. There is no federal law that has been changed, and there's no Supreme Court ruling that says you can't burn the Israeli flag. Now, this particular situation happened in the context of a woman getting assaulted on a civil level. That means that there was a civil injunction, or I want to say injunction, but she tried to sue him as a restraining order, a civil restraining order against the person who ripped her Israeli flag, took it and desecrated it in front of her. And so the judge ruled that the intent of the person who did this wasn't necessarily to protest the government of Israel, but to attack her personal identity, her race as a Israeli Jewish person. Meaning the attack of the Star of David on the flag was, in the context of this incident, was what they determined had been a violation of her civil rights. It has nothing to do with whether you can burn an American flag or not. I'll read this little part that I prepared. It says, Green's claim that Judge McFadden ruled that you can't burn an Israeli flag in America is a flat out false claim. The Supreme Court, Texas versus Johnson in 1989, and the U.S. and Eichmann in 1990 guaranteed the right to burn any flag, including Israeli flags. McFadden's case was misinterpreted online. He did carve out an Israeli flag exemption in this particular circumstances. Okay, it says the Supreme Court already ruled that burning protection is freedom, or burning is protected free speech, even Israeli flags. No judge can overrule the Texas versus Johnson. And even further, it's civil, it's not criminal. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, he wrote what he wrote in this. You need to read the document and understand what you're talking about before you say that. It's not about, can you burn an Israeli flag? If I went out here to burn an Israeli flag, I can burn one. In the context of a civil violation of somebody's rights, when a person is intentionally taking a flag, ripping it from a person with the intent to burn it in front of them, in the actions that they displayed, the things that they were saying, all in the context of this person was acting beyond a protest against the government, but to attack this person's identity specifically. So it's not illegal to burn the Israeli flag. And Megyn Kelly was correct in saying that if this was ever a criminal thing, it would be struck down anyway in the Supreme Court, because there's already a precedent set very clearly that you can burn any flag that you want to in America as an exceptional free speech. All right, I think we got one more, or no, that's it? All right, that's the last one. But anyway, I just want to wrap it up. It's real quick. I just threw that together right before the live because I'm so sick of people just telling lies. If you have a critique about Israel, just have a critique about Israel. If you have critiques about AIPAC, and you think that AIPAC has too much of a strong lobby on our Congress member, have an opinion about that. Talk about it, delve into it, explain to your audience the difference between FARA and the reason why the DOJ doesn't designate AIPAC as a freaking foreign lobby group. Be fair and say, well, I think that they should for these reasons. But these people don't have any real reasons. They want it to be so they can frame it to make anything supporting Israel illegitimate. It's like, no, if American citizens want to support Israel, then why can't they support Israel? You just mad because American citizens want a relationship with us in Israel, and you don't want us to have a relationship with anybody. Just make the main thing be the main thing. This is what I tell my son all the time. Let the main thing be the main thing, son. Like if you have a disagreement with Netanyahu, disagree with Netanyahu's policy position. You don't have to jump to saying he's controlling Donald Trump and Netanyahu is a war criminal. And then, like, wait a minute, bro, you jumping all the way off. You just disagree with Netanyahu doing X, Y, Z. But then the funny thing is then when these people get aware that what was perpetuated from Hamas was false, they never come back and correct the script. The starving kids. Have you guys ever seen a video of a real starving kid? I'm talking about a kid that's really starving. His bones sticking out. They starving. You can tell they're emaciated. They're weak. They don't have any food. Show me a video of that. I don't see a single video. You can't show me a video of a kid starving, but the mama fat. Well, why is you eating and the baby ain't eating? And it's not a little baby. It's a kid. You can take some of your rations and give it to your kid. How your kid starving and you not starving? That seems like that's not a food shortage. That seems like you neglecting your own kid. Then these people got emaciated kids. You come to find out they have a pre-existing condition. Emaciated man and his eyes are functioning. He's talking and moving around. I say that man ain't hungry. It's something else going on with him. Because the Israeli hostages are hungry. They can't even lift their head up. The dude's like this. I can't even lift my head up. They walking around slow. They can't, because you ain't eating. Your body is too weak to walk and you don't even want to talk. Show me a video of starving kids. Show me a video of the IDF directly killing innocent people. Show me a video. Don't tell me what they're trying to tell you. Show me a video. I've looked at videos. You can't, there's no video in the feed zones. This sort of stuff makes me so mad because I'm like, why do people lie and be disingenuous? The feed zone. They say that Israeli IDF soldiers have killed 1,300 people. They have not produced one video of somebody getting shot by the IDF at a food zone. Not one video. They show a video of them shooting warning shots and shooting at the ground. In that same video where they're showing them shooting at the ground, they don't have a video of anybody getting shot. So what do you mean? You had the video recording, but then you turn it off when people get shot. If you're recording them shooting into the crowd, you would think you would keep recording until you see somebody get shot and you will put it out there for the world to see. Not one video. Not one video. They go, Israel is starving people. I ain't seen a video of a starving person yet. But then they could be hungry. They're not starving. They could be hungry because they're not getting food every day because of a terrorist group is running the country. But even beyond that, then you go to Israel and you see all these pallets of food. You're like, what? It's a palace of food as far as you can see. How are they starving? Then I'm going to tell you this fact. They go, Israel was not doing it. The UN is public knowledge. The UN says, and they won't admit that Hamas does it, but they say that 96% of the food brought into Israel or brought into Gaza are looted. 96% of the food brought in is being looted. And they say by gangs with weapons. Oh, you mean Hamas? Oh, they won't call it Hamas. They call it gangs with weapons. What gang is there in Gaza that have weapons that will do that and Hamas ain't doing it? Let me ask you this. How does Hamas soldiers eat? They're not going to the feed zone, are they? Then therefore you don't know who are combating and who's not because they all look the same. The Hamas ain't going to a feed zone. How are they eating and not starve? If the people are starving, that means the soldiers are starving, right? Hamas soldiers should be emaciated right now because they are starving because there's no food going into Gaza. They're not starving. There's videos of them full as a tick. They still fighting. They still sending rockets and doing all this other stuff. They still stealing food. They doing all this. How are they eating and the people ain't eating? Because they're looting 90% of the aid that's coming in. And when Netanyahu says it, he's a liar. And then the UN says it and they obfuscate who's really responsible, and nobody fact checks it. Buildings blowing up. They got the camera right there. It's perfectly where the building at. The cameraman know where the bomb is going, but the people don't know. You would think the cameraman be like, hey man, we get out here. It's a bomb finna drop right here. Let me set my camera and the tripod up. Boom. People running like they shocked. How did he know, but they don't know? It's a farce, ladies and gentlemen. It's a farce. This is war. People are gonna die. Have you ever noticed this? And I'm gonna get to some real stuff, Nick, I promise. Have you ever noticed this? That when people talk about Gaza and they talk about the Israeli conflict, they go, do you want women and children to die? Why is that the first? Like, is that the only people that's dying out there or what? What are we talking about? It's always jumping. Have you noticed that they jump straight to that? You believe in women and children dying. Wait a minute. Only women and children are dying? Like, what are we saying? Death is death. All of it is bad. But why do you say women and children, though? Why do you stick to children? You want children and women, children to die. You're killing children. They never talk about the grown men. They never talk about the militia. They never talk about Hamas, because they account for tens of thousands in that number that we believe from the terrorist group. Where we get the numbers for the death toll at? Where we get the numbers from? Israel don't have the numbers. Hamas is the terrorist organization that's on one side of the war, is disseminating numbers, and you believe it. You can't be that silly. And I wouldn't believe it if Israel just put the numbers out there. But if Israel put the number out there and they put the numbers out there, then I say it's maybe somewhere in the middle. Y'all believe in what the terrorists are doing. 30,000 people died. How many were Hamas? They say 60,000 people have died in Israel. They say, how many are Hamas? IDF says 20,000. Bro, the civilian count, death count, is like 3%, 2% of the population of Gaza. How is that a genocide? And this is war, ladies and gentlemen. This is urban warfare. This is not fighting in the middle of the desert. These are people that live amongst millions of people in Gaza. And there's a war going on, and you think nobody's supposed to die in that war. There has never been a war that I know of in history that civilians don't die. If you look up the efficacy of this war, the most effective war that have been fought in, world history, when you look at the casualty to combatant ratio, better than any war America has ever waged, better than any war you can think about in the last, century. But they're killing innocent women and children for no reason. If Israel wanted to commit a genocide, they could have done it the first 24 hours. There's millions of people that live in Gaza. They could just hit the population centers. Bomb here, bomb here, bomb here, bomb here. That's 500,000 people dead right there. If they did that, I'd be like, yeah, that's a genocide. They sending leaflets. They calling people on the phone. They escorting people into safe zones. And then y'all so silly, some of y'all, that you don't even ponder in your mind if Hamas is willing to siphon billions of dollars from the people to not give them aid, not give them education, not give them resources, not give them bomb tunnels, not do anything for the people, but take billions and billions and billions in aid and build tunnels to create terrorism, that those same people that decided they're going to go and attack Israel, knowing that they will never win, they don't have no chance. They don't have an airport in Gaza. They don't have a military base in Gaza. They do not have access to the land or the sea without Israel having some level of control. How do they think they're going to beat Israel? But you think the people who took over the people, who have been holding them hostage, that build tunnels instead of resources, that attack Israel with no plan to defeat Israel, took hostages of the people they attacked, killed some of them, taped it, put it out to the world, celebrated it, Allah Akbar. You telling me them same people that you don't think that they are capable, who shot thousands of rockets into Israel on October the 7th, October the 8th, thousands. From what airport? From what military base are they shooting rockets from? They're shooting from within the city, in schools, in worship centers, hospitals. But you think those people wouldn't say to their shields that they're using, because they got 300 miles of tunnel, the people can go down in the tunnel and eat down there and be completely protected from Israel. But the people can't go in the tunnel. Just the militia group can go in the tunnel. So they let the people out there, they in the tunnel hiding. So you think that these people who don't care about their people wouldn't say, you can't leave this area, even though Israel told them to evacuate. You think that there wouldn't be men who hold their families and buildings to be martyrs for the greater cause of shaming Israel. What are we talking about? Y'all think that these people are moral. They doing everything right. It's just Israel. What? Show me where Israel build tunnels instead of helping their people. Come on, bruh. Like this, it's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten ridiculous. And I don't want to belabor the point. It's gotten ridiculous. I'm so sick of listening to people just make up lies about Israel. Like, you don't have to like Israel. Who cares? But don't lie. You ain't got to lie. They run Trump. Netanyahu runs Trump? What? How? Trump don't even run Trump. What are y'all talking about? He don't listen to his inner self. You think he listen to Netanyahu? Come on, man. What planet are y'all living on? Look, they run the media. Okay, they run Fox. So they run Fox and CNN is what you're saying. And they hate each other. But they're so successful in running Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and all these, that these businesses are going out of business because they're attacking Trump. The View may not even come back. I don't know if they're going to come back. They're losing ratings. People don't watch them. But the Jews are running the media. Then somebody said the Jews are running Breitbart. They running PragerU. Well, that's kind of ironic that the Jews love Christians more than they love anybody else. Dennis Prager is the most Christian Jew I've ever met in my life. We did Shabbat with Dennis Prager, me and my wife. He invited us to do Shabbat with him. Dennis Prager give a platform to all kind of Christians. The Daily Wire. The Jews run Daily Wire. Most of the hosts on Daily Wire are Christians and Catholics. When Candace was on Daily Wire, when she was a Protestant Christian, the biggest name was a Christian. Brett Cooper, one of the biggest, fastest growing people, she wasn't a Jew. Michael Knowles, Christian, Catholic. What's the other guy name that did, was a woman? Matt Walsh, Christian. The majority of people who have voices on Daily Wire are Christian men. And then the one Isabel Brown, they just hired her. Right?
Isabel Brown on Daily Wire?
I think they just hired Isabel Brown. I think she's a Christian.
Yeah. She's Catholic.
She's Catholic. What are y'all talking about? The Jews run Daily Wire. To be honest, the least most popular person at Daily Wire is a Jew, which is Ben Shapiro. He lost a lot of popularity. And don't get me talking about Tucker Carlson. I just saw an interview with him today. A dude saying we should have support Hitler in World War II against Stalin. This is what he says. We should support Hitler. And then there's no rebuttal or no conversation about it. We should just support Hitler in World War II against Stalin. We made a mistake. It's just like, it's spiritual, bro. The Jews it ain't that serious, bro. The Jews run the music industry. Why y'all mad at the Jews? I'm going to move on, Nick. I promise. Give me 5 minutes. Why y'all mad at the Jews for running the music industry as if they created gangster lifestyle? The people so y'all hating on Jews because Jews have strategically put themselves in position to be incredibly successful and own stuff way up here on this level. While y'all running around, some of y'all who hating, running around, black people, can't even, three black people can't even come together to start a business. And what you mad at Jews? They run all the industries. Well, because they focused on getting themselves in positions, you mad at them. And I guess because they're Jew, they're all of them the same. And they all working together. Even when they're opposing each other, they working together. Like where do we get this from? A Jewish man own this, so what? If a Jewish person didn't own it, an American own it, does that make Pornhub any different? And now I did the research and I got fact checked that a Jewish person actually don't own it. It's another guy that owns that's the material owner of the company, whatever, Mega Media, something that owns all the porn sites, most of the porn sites. You look at OnlyFans. OnlyFans is probably the most fastest growing porn site, $1 billion company, made billions over the year. The person who owned that ain't a Jew. But then they focus on one thing that a Jew is a part of, and they go, look, the Jews own this. Well, no, technically a Jew don't own the media group that owns Pornhub and all that stuff. It wasn't a Jew. The Jew is in a partner in an investment firm, but the person who had material ownership is another person that's in an investment firm. I mean, or you can say the dude does own it. It's still two people. It's not just a Jew. It just bothers me, man. I don't have any problems with Jews. I'm not afraid of Judaism. Islam is the one that we should be questioning. Judaism is just a part of Christianity, to be quite honest, except for Jesus. And that's what the only thing that we really have a big disagreement with them is the Jesus part. And I would think if Christians weren't so silly as they are today and don't know the truth of the Bible, I think that a lot of Jews would believe in Jesus. But y'all be making up Jesus ain't even the same Jesus in the Bible. And then y'all over here won't even read the Bible. And you talking about we replaced Israel. It ain't even in the Bible. We replaced Israel. Are you stupid? And that doesn't mean that they get a pass. And that just means that they still God's chosen people. And that land was prophesied that it'll belong to them. That's why they're there today. And they didn't get wiped off the face of the earth. It's prophesied. That don't mean that they somehow get special treatment over anybody else. It's just historical documentation that says the people that descended from Abraham are God's chosen people, and he made an everlasting promise never to be revoked. Now, we have been engrafted into the promise, and I think that's why America is so blessed. That's why all the Christian nations are so blessed. And that's why Israel is so blessed. We are partakers in the promise. It's crazy. It's like having a family and you get adopted into the family and act like the people who were there before you ain't a part of the family. It's like, no, dummy, you're a part of the family. You've been adopted into the family. The family don't cease to exist because you now adopted into the family. Now, there's some people that's cutting up and God got a plan for them. He already prophesied what he's going to do for his chosen people. It was already prophesied that he will recover the Jewish people whom, according to the Bible, have fallen away because of their disbelief of Jesus Christ. But there will come a day that they will come back into the fold. And temporarily, it's open up for Gentiles to come in, and then God is going to save all his people at once. We didn't replace Abraham's lineage. We are engrafted into his lineage. It's the craziest thing. It's like, my people, Abraham, I'm going to bless your lineage forever to come, or whatever the case may be. And now Christians are partakers in the blessing of Abraham. Now we the only ones that are part of Abraham's lineage. Now all the people that came before us just don't exist. Abraham didn't believe in Jesus. Jesus hadn't been alive. So I'm saying he didn't have an opportunity to follow Jesus because Jesus hadn't been alive yet. Now it was prophesied to Abraham that I believe the prophets would have alluded to that Abraham. Well, Jesus said Abraham knew of my day. So Abraham wasn't a Christian. Moses wasn't a Christian. None of these Jewish people were. So you think they didn't make it? Some people say that there's a new covenant. Well, who? For who? I'm saying there is a new covenant, but does it exclude the other people? What about all the prophets? What about David, King David, and Solomon, and all of them? What about all of them? From the line of Abraham. Are they not? They're not a part of the promise. Their promises escape them because modern Jewish people don't obey. But what about the ones who obeyed from the beginning? There's still a promise, and we're engrafted into the promise with those who obeyed. All right, I'm going on. Okay, 2 more stories, and I'm out of here for the weekend. And this goes along with it. You can have some pro-Israeli fatigue if you want to, but we're going to cut these into separate videos anyway. This is one thing that I think people don't talk about. And find your favorite anti-Semitic person on the internet that do commentary. And you tell me why they won't talk about this, though. They're going to say, it's a lie. Netanyahu make it up. The Jews own the media. Look at this and you tell me, is this a problem or not? Roll the clip.
Gaza, they have what's called summer camps. They're not summer camps like here. I want you to talk about that with our viewers.
Summer camps for little children, suicide summer camps. You teach little children how they should wear suicide vests that will explode them, in order to kill more Jews. I mean, this is horrendous. This is barbaric, and it's not a symmetrical battle. It's Israel fighting for civilization against these barbarians. And what you see, unfortunately, in many European countries, is weak leaders who say, "Oh God, we'll buckle under and try to curry favor with the barbarians. And if you don't fight this extremist Islamist fanatics, you'll see them at your door. You're already seeing them. And so we have, I think we have this battle. We're going to win this 7-front war against Iran and its proxies, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, all these savages that want to chant death to Israel, death to America. We'll win this war here, but I think it's very important that you win the war, the battle for truth and the battle for our common values there in America, in the West.
1,000%. I don't know how a person can listen to this and be like, they got death. Like, what? It's crazy. To ask yourself this question, and I'm going to move on. Do you believe what Netanyahu is saying? And if you don't believe it, then ask yourself why. That's footage of it. But if you don't believe it, then ask yourself why. The real truth is, why wouldn't Hamas do this? They believe they're in an apartheid state. They're being genocided. Why wouldn't they teach their young people to grow up to defend Gaza and the Palestinians? Why wouldn't they do that? So some people just want to reject it because Netanyahu said it. So they go, oh, that didn't happen. They didn't nobody doing that. They're not doing it. And the reality is that why wouldn't they do it? You think young people ain't building up the next generation to fight against Israel? Come on, bro. That's how the ones who are there now, they were taught when they were young to hate Israel. They've been teaching these young people ever since they were young to hate Israel, to hate Israel, to hate Israel, to hate Israel. Some people break beyond and be like, I don't dislike Israel. I'd rather live in Israel than live in Gaza Strip. But then there's some people that buy into the propaganda, and they're murderous death camps, summer camps that they send these kids to learn how to kill Israelis. And the thing is, and moving on to Gavin Newsom, but the thing is that, do you not remember what happened on October the 7th? I just want to make this one equivalence. If I saw IDF soldiers going into homes of Palestinians and raping them, beheading them, kidnapping them, killing them, and doing it on camera, then I would compare and say these are equal combatant groups. You'll never see IDF doing something like that. Where's the video evidence? Even if somebody claimed, where's the video evidence? Hamas recorded them doing it. I saw the video of them beheading the guy. That's why I'm as crazy as I am about it. They cut the man's head off like that in front of his family with a axe. Boom, 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 boom. What? What are we talking about? God is my witness. If I were the president of the United States of America and a militia group in Canada, let's say Mexico, that's the closest that it could happen in Mexico, came to America, came into Arizona, killed 40,000 people, kidnapped 10,000 people, recorded the beheading and murder and rape of those people, cheered and celebrated as they went over to Mexico with thousands of hostages of innocent women and children and men who are not in the military. Parking lot. I couldn't say parking lot fast enough. I'd say it's all gone. We're gonna give them 24 hours to return every hostage, or everyone will die as a result. That's what I would say. If I was the president, it's a quick phone call. It's a quick announcement from the podium. I come to you today as the president of the United States of America. Unacceptable. And I will make sure that no nation ever attempts this again. You have 24 hours to return every hostage without a scratch on their toenail. And if you do not return in 24 hours, you will not have a country anymore, and there would not be a remnants of the existence of anybody in your nation. Not a scratch on the toe of an innocent American. Everybody will have to meet their maker sooner than later, and no nation will ever attempt this again. We are going to use so much force, and there will be so much devastation that for generations to come, they will feel the fear and wrath of what America stands for. No one will ever hurt a hair on the citizen of the United States of America. Good night. I'll come off the camera and there will be comments to jets flying and boulders and people crying. Are you crazy? They did that to American citizens. What do you want me to do? As the president, you want me to come up there and say, well, we want to negotiate with them. I know that they videotaped it. It's very horrible to watch them behead people and mutilate kids. And I'm sorry, we're going to do our best and take 2 years to get y'all back. And as they're killing hostages, we'll do our best to make sure that nobody get hurt in this process. I'm not him. Everybody's dead if you don't bring my hostages back. That's like if somebody did that to my immediate family. Somebody come today, kidnap my wife and hurt my kids, and they recorded, they put it on the internet. Bro, you just signed yourself a death sentence. It's out of my hands now. I'm coming to retrieve my family. And you better not put your grandma in the front door, because she gonna eat a lead sandwich. If you wanted to be peaceful, we could have been peaceful way back here. You chose this path. And there's no way that this 18-wheeler finna stop going downhill with no brakes. You wanted peace. You should have called me on the phone and said, Brandon, I want to talk. Because now that you done kidnapped and did that, I have to avenge my family for my name's sake and for generations to come, so they see the Tatum name and know I ain't f***ing around with nobody. Come on. But then when Israel do it, why they do that? The innocent people. They just hurt innocent people. Why the women and children? No, they did that to their women and children. What you come over there killing people for? All right, you finna get what you deserve. I don't care about your people more than you do. They'll be all right. They going on to a better place, ain't they? All right, they're gonna go to a better place quicker. Because I'm gonna turn into a parking lot. And we're gonna start with the biggest city. Boom! You're gonna return the hostages? Boom! Hostages? No hostages. Boom, 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 boom. All right, this will never happen again, will it? not only will it never happen again because you're afraid, you don't have the capacity for it to happen again. And I'll be looking at, I'll come back and do a press conference once we didn't boom, 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 and it's all rocks. And I'll say, I want this to be a message. China, Russia, any of you mother think y'all gonna come and hurt American citizens, you will be next. It will be worse. It will be swifter, quicker. We had mercy on them. We gave them 24 hours. You ever come do this, we're not gonna give a warning. Everybody's dead. And we'll have a conversation about it on another time. We'll see you in the afterlife. That's what I would say. Israel is being way too nice about this, in my opinion. I think they being way nicer than they should be. They killed them people, man. I watched that video. I seen the clip the other day. What? You got to do it, Netanyahu. Come on, man. Quit. Don't worry about these people. They come on, man. Don't worry about these people. Keep running it. Keep running it. I support you. Keep running it. If I was a billionaire, I'll support you. Keep running it until you finish. And then when these Hamas stoves is all dead, then we can start talking. And you got about, 2 million people that's still alive after Hamas is dead. And then they can rebuild their country a better way. But y'all, they gotta die. They shouldn't. They took 2 years. That's too long. All right, last story, and I'm going for the weekend, man. Y'all done heard enough of Israel from me for the weekend. All right, 2028 presidential race, Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance. It ain't even close, y'all. I ain't even got to look at this thing. It ain't even close. Put it up on the screen. Let them look at it. I ain't got to look at it. It ain't even close, bruh. Do y'all really think Gavin Newsom have a chance at this election? I want to say F no, but I'm trying to be a good Christian. No. Gavin Newsom is a snake oil salesman. He's ruined California. Californians are sick of him. He almost got recalled. And you think he's going to have a message for America? And then the snake oil salesman is trying to be Donald Trump. He coming out. Where that clip at? Do we got that clip of him talking to Jasmine Crockett? We shared it on my Instagram.
Yeah, let me grab that.
We'll get the clip. Let's play this first, and then we'll roll back to the clip. I'm going to show y'all a clip of him trying to be like Trump. Trying to talk tough. Bro, let me tell y'all something. Talking tough and being tough is two different things. I can see from a mile away when a dude bluffing. Dudes be online bluffing with me. Bro, what's his name? I forget his name. He was a gym owner. If I see that dude in person, there's gonna be some furniture moving. He talk big noise online. I seen him in person. I think I seen him recently. He had like I was a ghost. He better never say nothing to me in person, or it's gonna be. Or I'm gonna put him on Instagram. I'm gonna record it on Instagram so y'all can see. And I'm gonna be like, see, all that talking online don't translate in reality. But I'm just throwing it out there. I'm kidding, y'all. I would never do that. I'm a good Christian, and I would never do violence. I'm just saying people be lying online. They be acting like they tough, and then in reality, they ain't never been in a fight before, and they be thinking that I'm 5'10" or something. Dude, I'm 6'2", almost 6'3", and I'm an athlete. Bench, I don't know how much I been 4-5 the other day. You don't stand a chance against me. But I just pray. I don't fight. I just pray. Unless I have to defend myself. But regardless of that, we know that Gavin Newsom is talking, but he ain't really about that gangster life. Donald Trump is about that life. Gavin Newsom ain't him. Roll the clip.
I absolutely think it's showing signs of working. And let's take a look at the voters who know Gavin Newsom best. Those voters out in California, those California Democrats. California Democrats and Newsom for governor. You go back to 2023, just 35% wanted him to run for president. Look at the percentage now who are excited for a run for president for Gavin Newsom. What is that? That's a 40-point climb. My goodness gracious. A rising tide of support for Gavin Newsom. Remember, back in 2023, the majority of Democrats did not want Joe Biden to run for another term, but California Democrats in Gavin Newsom's own state did not want him to run either. And now 75% are excited for him to run. And more than that, he's getting a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris in her home state. He is beating defeating the former vice president, who, of course, was the Democratic nominee in 2024. As I said, a rising tide of support for the California governor.
And we always say it's very early to be looking at 2028 polling, but why is California polling so important?
Why is it so important? Because I want you to take a look. It's one of those benchmarks, the home state polling for presidential candidates. If they can't win the primary in their home state, they ain't going to win anywhere. What are we talking about? Pres nominees and home state primaries. All of them won. All the nominees won. And all of them led in the early polls. So, yes, winning California is not tantamount to winning the nomination, but it is one of those stepping stones that you have to make it to if you, in fact, want to win the nomination historically. And, of course, in California, it has the most delegates out of any of the states that, of course, take part in the Democratic primary.
How are things looking nationally for Democrats?
Okay, so we're looking at the states, right? We're looking at Gavin Newsom's home state, but how about nationally? Does what we're seeing in California translate nationally? Chance of being the 2028 Democratic nominee, according to the
Look at these candidates they got. It's like this is why numbers and perspective matters. Gavin Newsom, 75% of people want Gavin Newsom to run. Gavin Newsom. He's running against AOC and Pete Booty Snitch. What? That's not these aren't real. AOC for president? That's not a real person. She's a meme. She's not a real person. She can't run a country. She lost thousands of jobs in her district because she didn't want Amazon to be there. What do you mean she gonna run for president? This guy, well, I'm glad they think this is a win because that's gonna be fun for us. Bruh, there are no real candidates right now. If I was a Democrat, clearly Gavin Newsom has a better chance than any of these people. Nobody's going to elect Booty Snitch to president. Nobody want a man and first man as the president. That's the weakest, gayest stuff that anybody can ever do, and nobody want that. Our country needs to be strong and bold. Going to Qatar with your husband. And now, y'all stop that. It's okay to be gay, but you ain't running the country. Ain't nobody want that stuff in the country. What you going to be doing with your first husband? In the Oval Office, rubbing each other booties. Stop. God didn't make it like that, and I ain't never vote for somebody like that. I ain't. I'm sorry. You running America and you up on another man. What kind of, let me just put that in perspective, bro. I have a hard time looking at another man and saying, bro, you him and you tough and you a gangster when another man on your back, though. That's where you lose me at. I can't see you as being tough when another man on your back. Another man is on top of you. And you tough. That ain't tough. That's weak, bruh. Like, let's say, put the thing back up there. Let's say if you were in the wilderness and you see a male lion. He got that big mane. Big old man, big. He just eating good. He walking through the jungle. He walking through the desert. He got the whole pride behind him. You like, boy, he a gangster. He gonna come and take it all. Mufasa don't go anywhere. Maybe that's Mufasa. Mufasa was the bad one. But they don't go anywhere without knowing who the man is. Then you see, and then you see another male lion get on the back of him. You like, oh, wait a minute, bro. He punked you. He the man. You not the man no more. He on the back of you. Okay. I'm sorry if I offended anybody who's in the LGBTQ. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest on how I feel. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, just know that I still love you and you can still be a really good person. But when it comes to whether or not I look at you like you him, like if I go to war and I'm finna throw hands, I'm gonna pick you to come fight with me. It's less likely when the other man mount you and y'all fighting. Like you ain't him though. Let me get the other guy in here that can fight. Maybe you could take a police report. You still have value. You can go and doctor. You can call the police. You can be a good witness. But bro, I can't trust that you're gonna throw the hands with me. If another man dominates you in the middle of the night, that's all I'm saying. All right. It's Friday, man. I'm finna go home happy today. Roll the clip.
Markets. Back on June 1st, before all this strategy, before all this confrontation with Donald Trump, you saw Gavin Newsom 11%, AOC at 10, Buttigieg at 8. Look at where Gavin Newsom has shot up to now. 27% now is the clear front runner, not at 50% plus, but still the clear front runner, at least according to the prediction markets. What we're seeing in California isn't staying in California, at least at this particular point.
Thanks, Harry. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Now, let's talk about J.D. Vance real quick. So the little weirdo, Nick Fuentes, claims that J.D. Vance is a tool of the deep state or something stupid. So if you believe that, quit being silly. J.D. Vance is, in my opinion, a premier presidential candidate. J.D. Vance is articulate. He's bold. He's learning from Donald Trump how to do business. Already, Donald Trump is setting the stage for J.D. Vance to step in and continue. I think J.D. Vance is a great successor of Donald Trump. I think he's a better successor, which means that I think that we get an upgrade with J.D. Vance. Why do you say that? Because J.D. Vance can have a lot of the things that Trump can have. I think he can negotiate well because he's learning from Trump. I think he's bold. I think he's no nonsense. I think he's conservative, and he already proved himself. So therefore, whenever J.D. Vance becomes the president, I think he's going to have that much more learning from Donald Trump without the 76-year-old or 70-year-old man with the repeating himself and being mad at people on Twitter and all that. J.D. Vance will be a solid presidential return because Donald Trump was important. Right. And he had to knock these people over the head. It had to happen. So I'm not taking nothing from Donald Trump. He had to knock these people over the head. He had to be the bull in the china shop, but we can't do that in perpetuity. So a J.D. Vance is a good return back to something presidential, but still not deep state. And so I think that he's going to have a really good chance to win. I'm 100% voting for J.D. Vance. There's nobody else that I will vote for president other than J.D. Vance. He's going to win. The question is, who's going to be his VP? Not Gabbard. I like Gabbard, but not Gabbard. I'm tired of women running stuff, to be honest. Like, can I say that? Women run the school system. Women run all this stuff. And come on. Men need to step up in the country and start taking our rightful position. So J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. Not Marco Rubio, but DeSantis. I don't know what y'all think. Somebody say Marco Rubio. I still think Marco Rubio ain't. DeSantis is not going to be in office for a little bit. So, because he can't run for governor again. So it's going to be like a 2-year window that Ron DeSantis is not going to be in political office. But I think he's a very strong candidate for president. He just couldn't. Donald Trump too much of a gangster. He couldn't hang with the big dog. Some people say Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. That's interesting. We need some tough people, man. We need some tough people to continue Trump's legacy for 8 years, and then we can see who's coming up next. But these people ain't gonna make it. We'll do this in post-production. I don't want to belabor the point, but we have that clip. But thank you guys for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys follow me on Substack. It's Tatum Report, the Tatum Report on Substack, or you can search Officer Tatum. You'll find me. I write articles about things that I go into detail about, like the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. I had to write an article about Marjorie Taylor Greene, her interview that I talked about earlier, but I wrote it down so you can have evidence and stuff that I researched. And then also the other one I want to do was I may do a summary of that freaking Ghislaine Maxwell thing. I'll try to summarize it, to put it in a quick op-ed so you can just read it and whatever, so you can have the information. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let me see if we got some super chats and I'm getting out of here. I can control it. Let me control it. And Trent, thank you for getting that clip. I know it was last minute. Okay, 2 super chats. Left will say Trump guilty no matter what, 100%. Let's see, brother Tatum, I want to thank you and your team for creating the Synergy night drink. It has cured my insomnia, and I'm full of energy for weeks. Y'all hear that? It ain't a joke, bro. Like, let me tell y'all something real quick. It's not a joke. I know people, see, if I was maybe if I didn't tell people I created the product, people may buy the product more, because I think some people think to themselves, like, what does Brandon know about nutrition? What does Brandon know about this? The thing is that most people that create these companies ain't an expert on biology and human nutrition. What you do is you hire somebody that is, right? So I hired a formulator that's an expert. And I said, develop me something. And I'll tell the story one day about the night drink, because the night drink was actually an accident. And then we realized, well, wait a minute. Why would we have complete energy instead of just one or the other? And nobody's pitching this, by the way. And maybe somebody will steal my idea and then whatever. But I'm hoping that we are the company that take this idea to the next level and make it $1 billion company. But I had a formulator put together the best concoction I could find that's natural and healthy, without dyes and artificial flavor and all that stuff, to help you get sleep, not oversleeping you. Because what happens is these companies don't really care about the quality of sleep and what it does to your body long term. So they'll give you something with 10 milligrams of melatonin in it. That's a lot, bruh. We put 1 milligram of melatonin in our drink. People put 5 to 10 milligrams of melatonin. And then they wake up with headaches and they wake up feeling groggy and foggy, because you are literally forcing yourself to go to sleep. Not a natural way to go to sleep. And then what you're doing is, when you overuse melatonin, your body quit producing melatonin naturally. So you begin to rely on this thing, and you will never be able to sleep well without it. Well, what we've done is we maximize the effects of magnesium and just put a little bit of melatonin in to help you get over the hump. But the magnesium and ashwagandha and stuff, it helps you relax and focus. And when I say focus, but help you relax and slow your brain down a little bit, because my brain go like this all night. So it helps you slow it down, help you relax, help you focus in on, instead of being so wired. And look at the reviews. I'm not making this stuff up. There's been at least four or five people that I personally know that said it changed their lives, that they've been taking medication. They've been taking prescription drugs, and they take Synergy night, and they have a time of their life. Even my son takes it. So I make it healthy enough for a young person to take it. My son is 14. He's 15 now. But I developed it when he was 13. So a 13-year-old, specifically more a 14-year-old, because I made sure, because when he was 14, we launched it. I want to make sure it was right. So a 14-year-old kid that weigh about 160 pounds, my son is 6'3", too, so he's a little bigger than a normal 14-year-old. But they can consume 1 milligram of, they consume up to, like, I forget how much melatonin, but I only got 1 milligram, and it's a lot less than what is too much for a 14-year-old. So if you want to give it to your kids to help them get sleep, look at the ingredients, do your own research. But we've developed it to where my 14-year-old takes it, and he says he has the most vivid dreams ever. What does that mean when you have vivid dreams? That means you're getting deep REM sleep. So you can have your kids take it. My energy drink, the day drink version of it, all natural, no artificial sweeteners, 75 milligrams of caffeine. A kid at 14 years old can take up to 100 milligrams of caffeine without it becoming an issue, being over-caffeinated. Your kids can, 14-year-old, at least the 14-year-old, can take the day drink, a little bit of energy. You don't have to give them a lot, because it will make you'll feel it. But anyway, it's not a joke, man. We got this formulated by legit people, okay? Newsom said he want to fight you. Newsom said he want to fight me. Yeah, boy, I wouldn't even ball my fist if me and him got into a fight. All right, I love you guys. Y'all have a good weekend. God bless you. God bless America. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47